Alright, today I will be focusing on the CRUD operations for SQLite. Well, initially we are storing our data in the to-dos variable inside a main function, but it also means that it is storing in memory, and whenever our service close and then reopen again, the data will be lost. So to avoid the data to be lost, my approach right now is that I will integrate with the SQLite DB engine so that I can save the data in a file, in a DB file, and whenever I want the data or I want to deal with the data, I deal with the file. Well, to get started, I'll be using this library called SQLite 3, and it does provide examples that are pretty useful for getting started with the CRUD, basic CRUD features. Well, we shall go get the library first, and restart our server. After that, we will create a folder called db, and inside we put todo.db as our SQLite file. So todo.db, it then become the file that we can use to read the database. So first of all, inside the function main, we will initiate the DB connections. We have the DB driver inside our import. Take note that there is an underscore at the leftmost of this import, because underscore means that we can import the library without having to use it explicitly in our code. Reason being, our SQLite is actually accessed via this string. So the SQL library from database /SQL package, it will look up the SQLite 3 and DB driver via this string. So we are not directly using the SQLite 3 driver lah. So that's why. So db/todo.db. So now we have got the DB in connected, and whenever the system is terminated, we will also close the DB connection. Right, so that's all for the preparations needed. Secondly, we want to have some helper functions to help us to navigate through our data easily. First of all is select. So let's find this select method where we can use to select a list of or refetch a list of to-dos. I'm thinking about having another folder called, for example, it's called services, and then I put in all the operations inside. Well, the naming convention, probably I can do another specific study on this, like how to name it better. But for me, I'm just going to separate the operations inside this services package. So package services, and we have a function, say refetch to-dos, that will return a list of dto.todo cut dto, and from here it will pass in the db sql.db. Right, so this db is passed from our main.go function, where we can reuse the same DB instance that we have already instantiated. Secondly, we want to also create one select all from our table called to do, and then we call the db.query method, where every next row we want to scan the data, right? But our ID is actually string, and our we also have a text, and we also have a check. There's a boolean. Okay, so text, and then we have the check as well. And by having all this, we can then append to our to-dos. Okay, we can have like dto.todo cut dto, and to-dos equal to append to-dos with our dto.to-do-card.dto, where the ID and all the other things is based on the data that we have scanned. Alright, so we don't need to print line. And finally, whenever we encounter any error, right, we just return an empty to-dos. So we have a to-dos at the topmost, and here we can straight away return the to-dos. Well, another thing is from here, also return to-dos. Okay, so we are done with the refresh to-dos operations. But keep in mind that for a select method to work, right, we need to have the table available first. So for the table to be available, we can execute the create table operations when we have the connections ready in our main function. So create table to do, ID is going to be the text, not now primary key. Text is going to be of the type text, and also the check is of the type boolean. Right. So we execute the statement, and then if there's any error, we then return the entire main function. So hopefully it does not have any error lah. Okay. Oh, table to do already exists. So whenever there's a table already, we don't want to run the create method again. So we use the if not exists keyword. Right. So let's see again. Create table not exist, is it? Like create if not exist some table. Create table if not exist to do, right? Like this. Reload again. Okay, now it works. Okay, we have the refresh to do's method already. We want to have also some other operations that involve getting one single to do, creating, updating, and deleting. So refresh to do is going to be taking a ID of string, and it's going to return a single to do only. So select db.prepare, prepare the statement. So here it's going to use a .prepare statement to do a single record scanning. So let me just say that it's query row. Let's try. I guess it's this one. Okay, so instead of using all the everything that we have right here, we just paste like this and say prepare select all from to do where ID is equal to question mark. If there's an error, return new. At the end of the day, we want to scan a few fields, that is including the text and also the check. So query is query row by the ID that I want to scan the text and also check. If error is not equal to new, then I'll return new. Else, I'll return a new to do card DTO with the data that I've specified. Check go to check. Okay, so this is how I implement this refresh to do operation. We can verify that these operations are working fine after we finish the implementation, right? And now let's continue with create to do. So creating a to do involves getting a text on the would do, right? And you will return the full data whether or not we need this, right? So let's have a look at how the current implementation is done, where we actually have a random to do. a new to-do card with a random UUID, and then the text I put in the text that I've already put in the function parameter, and the check is equal to false. So this to do is going to be returned at the end of the day. But before we do a return, we want to add into the table. So we use a insert into operation. Let's copy the statements right here. This is a transaction, so we don't want to use a transaction yet. Probably we just use the same logic as the create table logic, where I can do like this and return to do at the end of the day. Right, so insert into data, I will just put in the operations that I have specified here, like this. Insert into to do, ID, text, and check. Values, we have 3, and I'm going to create a data called the ID, to-do.id, to-do.text, and to-do.check. So I pass it all the values in, and I expect to have a brand new record after doing all these operations. And finally, not finally, update to do similar, but I need to have the ID of string and also the check of boolean. Well, to do is equal to the ID, text, and check. So this is the new intended to do that we want to return, and the operations will become update to do, right? Is it update to do? Update table name set blah 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 equals to, so update to do set ID equal to question mark. Sorry, I don't set the ID. So text equal to question mark, check equals to question mark, values, no need values, but I need a var statement, where ID equal to question mark again. So we can have text statement with text, check, and then ID at the end. Right, so if there's any error, then I'll return the error, then so on and so forth. Okay, finally would be delete to do, right? So deleting, I don't need so many data. I can straight away use the statement and say delete from to do, where ID equals to question mark, and then put in the ID right here, and it's going to return new either way. Alright, so delete, update, create, and refresh, I can say it as a get to do, and then here's a get to do's. Okay, and every operation we also include the DB there. So technically, right, since we are using the same parameter, I'm thinking actually we can also do something like, like type to do service struct, like this, and then we have a DB of SQL.db. It's going to be a internal one. I'm going to put this as a external struct, and here is a to do service TS. Like this, is it? Like this, and TS. There I don't need the DB already, because I already passed the DB when I initialize the item. You can just straight away use a db. They're wondering if I'm doing the syntax correctly. Let me check again. Golang struct function. Right. So struct function is the name first and then the type. So terbalik, right? Like this. So ts.db.query. So every db dot blah blah is going to become not used anymore, right? So we can just put in everything into the same to-do service function, so that it helps us to lessen a lot of code, improve the the reusability of the functions. Okay, just do a bit of refactoring. And then here also the same, so the same. Okay, so I finished wrapping all the CRUD operations inside this to-do service, and now I'm going to create the struct. After I initialize the DB, I'm going to say that to-do manager is equal to services dot. Okay, so it's a to-do service and here the DB is equal to DB that I've already created, and moving forward would be integrating the bunch of operations that we have. So to-dos is equal to to-do service dot get to-dos, and we have the to-dos already. And then add operations is going to be add to-do service dot add, so create to-do with the text of text, and after that to-dos is equal to to-do service dot get to-dos, and then I have the to-dos. Right, update the item is going to involve, okay, here the find by ID and filter by ID, all this I don't need, just to make sure that I don't keep any functions that I don't use anymore. Just remove it. Alright, so when I want to update something, I got the ID text already. So probably text is equal to the c.form value, and I want to say to do is equal to to do service dot update to do, so that I can have the ID text and check. So check is going to be inherited from the O to do, right? So we have O to do dot check. Update, after updating, then I should return it. Yeah, like this. Okay. Next, delete. Right, deleting also involves the same logic, where first thing is to do service dot delete to do with the ID, and then to do is equal to do service dot get to do's. Yeah, and then we pass in as a parameter, and we also need to sometimes find the specific to do by its ID. So to do is to do service dot get to do with the ID. Same thing, also paste it to replace the O1. And oh, apparently we have done. Okay, so we've done a lot of things without even testing any single operation. Let's do a testing right now. Okay, now initially I have no data. When I add it, I get the new data here. When I reload the page, the data is added. So the same thing, when I edit it, oh, now we got the error. When I want to edit, I got the expected 3 destination arguments in scan, not to. So something is wrong with my scanning mechanism. When I get the select all, right, probably I just want to select the text and also the check. I don't want to select the ID. Okay, so when I press edit, I can freely edit the item that I want to. I can also cancel it. Okay, and after reloading, it will also keep remaining the same. Deleting also the same. I can delete anytime I want to. Okay, so this is how we do the operations for CRUD. I think it covers like probably majority of the use cases already. Just playing around with the the data structure, playing around with how you want to do like queries, and potentially you can also use things like transaction and any operations lah based on your specific use cases. But this is how we can do a very simple persistent database that enables a very simple application to work seamlessly with even when the server is down and restarted again. Okay, so moving forward, my plan is that I will start paying more attention to the UI, because for this to-do application, essentially we already actually not yet. Today not yet done. As a final touch, I want to also implement the checkbox. When I press the checkbox, I want to make sure that this check item is checked. Basically that's it. So to quickly do that, let's head to the components and we go to the to-do card. So basically to-do card, before editing we can already do the selection like here at the very beginning. So we want to go to material icons or HTML checkbox input. Okay, input type equals to checkbox. Let's try how well it looks like. Actually, it looks decent. It looks okay. Okay, just straight away use the input type and then with potentially a name. But let's check if I can do things like straight away edit. Okay, so for example, now we have the let me recall a bit on how we do the to-do operations. When we click the edit, we go to the edit to do input template. So when we go here and we press the check, then we will do the swapping accordingly. So, and the section is also the ID is edit to do with the ID, and the to do card also have the ID of its ID is a to do dash ID. Right, so let's copy over the hashtag put, because I almost confirmed that I will use a put already, and then value. So let's see if the value is, can I say that it is input checkbox default check. Okay, so there's a check attribute. So check attribute, it means that I can probably do like this, equal to do dot check. Okay, hopefully it works. Okay, true or false. Do we have ternary operator? Apparently we don't have that. So let's go to temper.guide and find how we can do the conditional checking. Condition, if else. Well, although I don't mind writing it twice, but don't we have a... Oh, this works. No. Anyway, if to-do.check, is it like no. If else, and okay, so I do a put request and then trigger is by click. When I want to swap, I will swap the entire outer HTML with the target of. So this slash to do slash ID, it will return this put request, right? It will return the to do card, which is this component. So I want to swap with auto HTML, and the target is going to be the current element. So it's instead of edit to do, it's going to be to do like this. And I feel like this is the only thing that we need to do. But because we don't have any name, so potentially we want to specify a name, right? If not, then how we can... Let me check if I can put in a name here and expect to say it sends to the database. Boom. Let's see. There's a payload called check on. Interesting. Can I try a bit of things? Right. If I do like this, will the value become difference? Okay. So yes. So there will be a value called on and off, I guess. Oh, the name is check. And from here, whenever there's a to-dos being updated, here. Then I will update the to-do with check. Okay, we have the old to-do, and I also have a text. Alright. So text equal to say if text equal to nothing, or text equal to new, okay, basically empty string, then I will say that text is equal to c dot o to do dot text. Okay, and then the same thing comes to check. So the form value is going to be the check if check equal to empty string, if check equal to on, else. Okay, so check equal to actually I can't change the type like this, right? So this is a check string, and And then we have the check equal to for o to do dot check like this, right? If check string is equal to on, then I would do several operations true. Else, if check string is equal to off, then check is equal to false. And here we replace. Okay, let's see. When it's not checked, then I check it. I get a check on. When I uncheck it, I get a nothing. Oh, so meaning that when I uncheck something, right, it doesn't give me any values, so it's not off lah. Essentially, it become like else. Actually, I can do like this. So maybe maybe it's going to be if it is checked already, let me check how can I the form value. There's a thing called payload right here, but there's no payload. Okay, so maybe what I want to do is, okay, this one is considered working already, but then I can do like else the check is false, and then from like this war check bool. Okay, and finally we can go to the edit to do input lah, and add in the this thing, edit to do like this, edit to do, right. We can also have the checkbox together. Just wondering if that will cause any issue or not. Let's say, yeah, we have the check on and then the edit input. Okay, check off, check on, check off, check off. Oh, it works well. Alright. So meaning that from here, we can also control the edit to do input by using the same logic. Like just copy paste the to do dot check conditional checking. So generally, these are the operations that a to do item will have. Oh, one last thing, okay, that I forgot already. Whenever I check something, right, now is that it will always be at the current position. Actually, right, it is okay lah. It's okay. Just that maybe I can do like SQL sort by SQL order by. Yeah, I can order by a certain keyword, right? So maybe I can say order by check ascending order. So the check item will always be at the last one. Yeah, it will always be at the last one. Except when we do the edit, right, it will not change or swap the positioning because we are essentially just modifying the current row only, unless we do like operations that will influence the entire list, then it will do the reswapping. So this is sort of like a not so convenient UX for the users. Very easily we can change it or fix it by, instead of swapping a single row, we can swap the entire to-do list with the latest ordering. Yeah, that can be done, but probably not now. I think the logic now is sufficient already for demonstrating how the basic CRUD features look like. And moving forward, we'll be focusing on the UI side, so we can explore together on how we can make things look better. So that's all for today. Thanks.